This is a video that I've wanted to record for the last week now. The delusional framework that these mainstream media mouthpieces have. I mean, to say that they're narcissistic is beyond, it doesn't even come close. They think that they're some sort of immortal gods. They think that they're demigods from up on high. Oh, we tell you what the truth is. Yeah, all of you peasants that are just down there on X, well, it's really unfortunate you don't have fire. We're just going to give you fire. Would you like that technology? I know Elon would like that technology. We're going to look like we're literally 65 because we've done too many drugs, but oh my God. So when I saw that clip, I knew that this was going to be a banger. And so I did something that I would only do for you guys. I followed Don Lemon so that I could get the notification when this video came out, and it came out. Oh man, I have not seen this yet, guys. I have not seen this yet. So he's obviously interviewing Elon Musk. Let's watch this. This is gonna be nuts. This is gonna be so crazy. I can't believe he released that clip as promotion deliberately. I mean, it just compounds the narcissism, right?
Well, the interview ended. So what went wrong? I don't know. The interview ended. No ground rules, nothing off limits or out of bounds. That is until the interview ended. So what went wrong? I don't know. But my hope is that—
Dude, what is going on? The interview ended like abruptly. How could you, oh my gosh, you made Elon Musk walk out? Bro, just to let you guys know, I am the biggest Elon fan the world has ever seen. I have a shirt signed by him in person with his face on it. I've seen every single Elon Musk interview there is in the world. I've seen them all, even the ancient ones. He has never walked out. Never. It hasn't happened. And then for him to be like, I don't know why, are you kidding me? Dude, if that happened to any normal, sane person with a functioning moral framework, they'd think to themselves, what did I do wrong? Because Elon doesn't walk out of interviews.
And I challenge you, Elon, to watch the whole interview and tell the world why this isn't what you claim you want on X. Thank you for inviting us here.
You're welcome.
Your Tesla headquarters. I'm surprised at how big it is. I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's about 3 times the size of the Pentagon.
Yeah. So I'm here, as you know, I'm on the platform because you say you're a free speech absolutist, right? And there are no conditions.
Yeah. Free speech is as much as possible within the bounds of the law.
Yeah.
So being a free speech absolutist doesn't mean that there are no conditions. The conditions just abide by the already existing laws of the government that have been existing for a long time. There's libel, there's slander, things like that are not legal speech. We know that, of course, but what he's already kind of contradicted himself there in a small way.
We'll speak to you for an hour. I don't like sound bites, so I welcome that. So let's get into it. So we're here in Austin. South by Southwest is going on. We're at the Tesla headquarters. You are in the process of moving SpaceX here, I understand?
No. SpaceX has a massive facility in South Texas where we build and launch Starship, and then we have in Bastrop near Austin, we are about to start production at a Starlink, a large Starlink factory for Starlink terminals. But but we're not shutting down any facilities in California.
Listen, we are here as part of a launch of a news interview show that is going to be on X.com. It's coming as a media industry, as you know, is going through a whole lot of changes. Yeah. X has also been affected by that. Where do you see X.com's role in the future of news and journalism, Elon?
Well, I think I see the X as it's already the #1 source of news in the world. So it is.
This is why I'm expecting there to be the first contention.
The #1 way that people actually are informed about any kind of news, meaning real-time events, is on the X platform, formerly Twitter.
It's very rare that you see someone get extremely angry that the establishment no longer has control. Those people are rare. But Don Lemon is one of the few humans that thinks that he should be able to be a part of that ruling class that tells you what's true. So I'm fully expecting him to get upset here when Elon says, we're replacing you, because the data shows that it's true. But I want to see how he tries to pervert that.
There's nothing even close for real-time news. So we also want to expand upon that, and we have done so with long-form content. So instead of just doing what used to be called tweets, you can now do long-form posts. You can post an entire essay. In fact, you can now put an entire book, text, pictures, video, whatever the case may be.
Right, and that wasn't intended to be possible. Elon buying Twitter was an aberration. You can tell by the disparity of what's true, basically by what people can report on live and what the headlines of the news articles are. I mean, you saw it with Public Enemy #1 the other day, where they were printing a bunch of literally false things. Then on X, the full footage was going viral, and I mean viral, like hundreds and hundreds of millions of views. So I would say that X is holding the mainstream media accountable, but really X is already hundreds, if not thousands of times bigger than the mainstream media.
You reached out over the summer and you said it would be great to have Maddow, Don Lemon, others on the left put on this platform. You received full support. The digital town square is for all. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that we want to make sure that there are a wide variety of viewpoints. That it's.
What do you mean by that? You're welcoming me? How dare you?
We always have, for example, Tucker Carlson, who most people will view as being on the right, and that's quite a prominent name on the right. We want to have prominent names on the left as well to provide different points of view. As well as centrists.
They're so catty, though. You can't be as cool as Tucker because you're catty, because you think that you're on Elon's level.
Wide range of viewpoints on the platform, so users can hear different opinions. They can hear, what's your point of view, what's Tucker's point of view, and people can make their own decision about what they believe.
You didn't mean that I'm on the left? Did you think that?
I thought you were on the left, but
yeah.
I don't know. I'm used to let's just say, I don't know.
On the left. Have you seen this guy's clips from coming out of COVID?
The left is, or the right is, frankly, these days, because things can be quite polarized. But my impression was that you're more likely to be described as on the left than the right. My sense is you're sort of center left. I don't know. You tell me.
Well, did you ever watch me on CNN, or did you watch?
I saw segments.
Yeah.
But CNN is generally considered left.
Yeah. Why do you say that?
Why do I say CNN is generally considered left?
What?
I think if you look at any sort of media survey of what is on the left or right, I think they would say, like, for example, Fox is on the right and CNN is on the left.
Yeah. So that's what is it?
Am I missing something here?
Okay. Are you missing something? I don't know. I think that
Dude! I've said it in many previous videos. The left views objective truth as oppression. So to even admit that 2 + 2 = 4 is to give up some sort of ground in their head. Because if you acknowledge that there is an external truth that can be realized via rationality, logic, reason, then they are beholden to that standard rather than the standard of their ideology. That's why you see him so hesitant here. But to even admit the most basic stuff. I mean, yeah, it's very obvious.
When I read that, I said, like many of my critics or detractors, they never really watched me on CNN. They just saw the clips of me either on social media or maybe on Fox News or in conservative media.
Yeah.
Dude, but at this point, everybody looks at clips, and you've also attacked people based on clips, and there's Andrew Tate, there's even Elon Musk, who you said negative things about. There's all sorts of people.
Sort of where I've become a character or a caricature of what I actually am, and it's taken out of context.
Sure. Well, how would you describe yourself?
I would describe myself as someone who is, I am independent in my thinking, okay, and I vote for people based on the issues and how I feel about it, not necessarily.
No, you do not. And you're about to prove it here.
Necessarily because of political leaning of some sort.
Well, I agree with that approach. I think that
he's claiming he's not ideologically possessed. This is false.
It's generally how people should take things, which is, I mean, there are a whole sort of set of issues which are sort of somewhat arbitrarily bucketed into right or left. Yeah. But I think most citizens would think that they would agree with some things on the left. That's what I think most people feel, I guess.
How much longer, and maybe the answer is forever, how much longer are we going to have to call it the formerly known as Twitter? I mean, even Prince went back to Prince instead of, is it always going to be X?
It's definitely always going to be X.
So X is going through some changes. As I said, a lot of media companies are going through some changes. You're in charge of an incredible platform, Elon. How do you feel that's going?
I think it's going pretty well so far. We're seeing record usage. We've added a tremendous amount of functionality.
Elon comes in, fires 80% of the staff, productivity goes through the roof. 90% of those were women.
So let's talk about that, because you said you wanted all points of view, right? It's a digital town square for all.
Yeah.
It's the platform has kind of picked up where some conservative media has left off. That moving to the right, increasingly becoming part of a conservative dialogue. Sometimes even
No, that is ignoring. So again, you're going to see how he's ideologically possessed here. That is ignoring the censorship apparatus that has been taking place on all social media platforms against the right. When you take that into consideration, the censorship that is on YouTube against the right, you see very clearly that migration to X is merely as a result of free speech. And if Elon hadn't bought Twitter, then they would still be colluding with the federal government to censor individuals. And that literally came out. The federal government, in violation of the First Amendment, was censoring individuals ideologically.
conspiracy theories, right? There was an article recently.
Wait, what did he say about conspiracy theories?
The conservative dialogue, sometimes even conspiracy theories, right? There was an article.
Dude, okay, with the exception of a very few number, almost every single conspiracy theory has been proven correct in record time because people are able to post videos exposing the Matrix on X. By far more conspiracy theories have come true than haven't.
Recently written about you saying that you, Donald Trump, and X were the most important people or places or whatever icons when it comes to the MAGA movement. Do you agree with that? How do you feel about that?
Being able to speak freely is critical to our political party because our opponents want to censor us and lock their opposition, our leader, in jail. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Free speech is really great. Oh, you must be a bad person. That was really extremely fascist of you, what you just said. You mean you resist us trying to put you in jail for your opinions? Oh, that's crazy. You can't do business in our cities.
Well, I mean, there are nonsense articles written all the time, and I certainly wouldn't agree with that one. I put it in the nonsense category. So, the objective fact of the matter, in my opinion, was that old Twitter was fundamentally a tool of the far left, and that was really, I think, a lot of it was due to being located in San Francisco, Berkeley, and so.
Right. So he's going to explain this. It's obvious to everyone, dude. Everyone understands this, and the Twitter files proved this.
It wanted to essentially project the SF Berkeley political dogma worldwide.
You think it was far left?
Yes, I do.
I actually got off the platform because I would get so much hate tweets when it was called in, so much hate tweets and just guff from.
Yeah, people on the left experience that same angry fervor mob mentality. I mean, H3 was talking about it the other day when he was crying, pre-debate about how everyone hates him. Oh my gosh, this is slander. Oh my gosh, everyone's hating on me. Why is this happening? It's because they have no moral framework. They're completely disconnected from reality. So everyone can be a victim of the leftist mob.
It's the internet, if people will do. I've been called every name times 1,000.
Yeah. Do you agree that it's right now, and that even it's moved into sort of MAGA land conspiracy theory?
I certainly don't think it's right. The old school Twitter suspended and suppressed accounts that you'd call on the right 10 times more than they did accounts on the left.
And Twitter files, exactly. That's objective data get destroyed. Let's see how he copes with that.
Even when they did suspend an account on the left, it was because of arguments between two people on the left. The political donations of old Twitter were 99% Democrat. Does that sound left-wing or right-wing to you?
The Twitter donations?
Yes. When they look at...
Oh my gosh, it's low IQ. That is a low IQ response. No, not just the Twitter donations. He just said to you, 10 to 1! Oh.
Donations from a company. If a company donates literally 99% of all donations are to Democrats, does that strike you as a left-leaning or a right-leaning
company?
Mean
the company donated. I understand what you're saying.
What I'm trying to tell you is that Twitter employees...
Is he an idiot or something? Do you need him to explain it to you 3 times?
People at Twitter, their political donations were 99%, literally 99%.
I understand percentages are hard for the leftists. That's really discriminatory. He already couldn't put 2 and 2 together, but, I mean, come on.
To Democrats.
Come on.
That's obviously an extremely left-leaning group.
My question, leading into this, was about MAGA.
Why didn't he acknowledge that? What? He basically asked Elon to explain to him 3 times and then was like, let's move on.
MAGA, you recently met with Donald Trump in Florida. What did you guys do?
I was at a breakfast at a friend's place, and Donald Trump came by. That's it.
Mace.
So you didn't go there to meet him?
No, I went to a friend of mine's house and it said Donald Trump's coming by for breakfast. Is that, just so you know, like, okay, fine.
What did you discuss?
I don't. Let's just say he did most of the talking.
What did you say?
The normal things he says. There was nothing particularly groundbreaking or new, but he, you know, President Trump likes to talk, and so he talked. I don't recall him saying anything that he hasn't said publicly, and that was it. It was just a breakfast.
Did he ask you for money?
He didn't.
Did he ask you for a donation?
No.
He didn't.
No.
You said you're not going to donate to any candidate.
That's correct.
Why not?
I think, while I'll voice my opinion, I think I don't want to put a thumb on the scale monetarily that is, you know, significant.
Are you going to loan him money to help pay his bills?
No.
Not at all.
He just said, okay, wait
Because
a second. I'm not going to pretend like this isn't low IQ, because he just said to you twice that he's not giving him money. So this is the same type of antagonistic questioning, bordering on interrogation, that is not good faith, and it's not in the spirit of dialogue or an interview. And I'm not going to pretend like that's not happening here.
Legal bills.
I'm not paying his legal bills in any way, shape, or form.
And he did not ask you for money.
And he did not ask me for money.
Are you going to, so you're not going to endorse a candidate?
I may, in the final stretch, endorse a candidate, but I don't know yet. I want to make a considered decision before the election, and if I do decide to endorse a candidate, then I will explain exactly why.
Are you leaning towards anyone?
No.
You're not leaning towards anyone. Because you've been...
Let me say I'm leaning away from Biden.
You're leaning...
I've made no secret of that.
Are you
Everyone's leaning away from Biden.
concerned about losing your security clearance if Biden is reelected? Does that have anything to do with it?
No.
That's kind of an interesting question. I wonder why he would ask that, though, because that's a really double-edged question. Because if he were to say yes, then wouldn't you be curious about why the left is corrupt? That was weird. That was weird.
You are leaning away from Biden, but you're not going to endorse anyone. It seems like an endorsement of President Trump, because there are only two people who are running now. Nikki Haley is out.
I mean, a lot could happen between now and the election.
Listen, I'm not asking you anything that anyone else hasn't asked you about your controversial stuff that you tweet. You post a lot of controversial stuff. Is that considered blowing off steam?
Well, I guess I do.
Okay, something being controversial in today's day and age doesn't mean anything negative, because half the group of people have admitted that they think logic, rationality, and all objective frameworks are oppressive. People have labeled truth oppression. So to a group of the population, let's say 15% of the bell curve that says objective reality, truth, and math is discriminatory, and they call what you're saying, you know, controversial, that's not really a criticism. So you can't use the word controversial as if it is descriptive of anything negative anymore. That's just not accurate. It's not accurate. But I'm not surprised Don hasn't connected the dots there.
Enjoy using the platform. I mean, I do call the X platform the PvP, or player versus player platform.
But you've admitted that you have a ketamine prescription.
Yeah.
What's that for?
Well, I mean, it's pretty private to ask somebody about a medical prescription, you know.
Bro. What? I've never heard anyone talk that way about someone else's. Like, that's kind of weird. Even if it wasn't on camera, like, and I'm thinking back to my far leftist environments. Even in the far leftist environments, like the school that radicalized Elon's kid, or the college that I went to after, there's not no one talked that way. Nobody. So it's like, that's not even acceptable on the left. That would be considered like prying. So if he thinks that that's acceptable, it means that he considers Elon not on the same level of human as him. And that might sound difficult to understand, but my previous videos explain this concept. Leftists say that if you're not a part of their group ideology, then you don't have the same automatic virtue as they do. They don't measure virtue in the same way that normal people do, by being a good person, doing good things, your content, your quality of character. They just measure it based on your membership status. It's right in the Marxist ideology.
But I think something I'd say, like, there are times when I have sort of I don't know, like a negative chemical state in my brain, like depression, I guess, is or like depression that's not linked to any negative news, and then ketamine is helpful for getting one out of.
By the way, just want to say this is basically the one place Andrew Tate is incorrect. This is where I wish he would have a conversation with Jordan Peterson, so Jordan could just take 10 minutes and explain in his hyper educated state that the landscape of psychology is far more complex than most people realize.
Negative frame of mind.
Well, listen,
So I in fact, I generally, obviously I'm not.
And by the way, I do want to say that for someone on the left, or any person, but especially for someone on the left, to try to pry and violate this even more, it goes against the hypothetical position that they have, which is supposed to be based on radical inclusiveness, to the point where they literally set up hardcore drug injection sites in San Francisco and Los Angeles. So, yeah.
But I would say, if someone has depression issues, they should consider talking to their doctor about ketamine instead of SSRIs.
listen, I think that ketamine and drug therapy is increasingly becoming more in the mainstream.
Yeah.
Do you think you're doing it under a doctor's care, right?
Yeah. Literally a prescription.
I don't even know how he got that information. I haven't heard that brought up in any other podcast. It must be very private.
How often do you take it?
Well, it'd be like a small amount once every other week.
Oh, he's like a bloodhound now. He's throwing morality out the window. Let's get the clip. Let's get the clip.
Week or something like that.
But there's not on the bottle where it says take this dose this many times a week or whatever. If it's
You think that you're smarter than him or his doctor? Why are you still talking about that?
Eventually, there's a dose, and I don't, there are several weeks will go by where I don't use it.
you don't use it.
Yeah, I think it's just, like I said, I think what I find ketamine is if you like literally like a chemical state in your brain that you can't just think yourself out of,
Right.
then ketamine is helpful for getting you out of a depressive mind state.
From depression, or you in a depressive mind state? And I asked you as someone who has suffered from depression.
I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say that I have like a case of like extended depression. It's just once in a while I get into a negative sort of chemical mind state. Once in a while, it's not a common thing, but once in a while this happens.
Move on, bro. You're. This is prying. This is not even the position hypothetically of the left. This is disgusting.
Where do you think that comes from?
I think it's just genetic, basically. If there are a concentration of people who came here illegally in a particular state or in a particular state, that state will actually then get an increased number of House seats. So the House seat portion.
His face is hilarious. It's like, how am I going to try to get around these objective facts? I'm so uninterested. Elon is explaining in a very calm, concise manner the reasoning, the logic, the rationality behind what he's saying. But even to the boomer leftists, this is untenable. Because remember what I said, they think of objective truth, any form of it, as discrimination and oppression. So what Elon's doing here is basically admitting he's a bad person in their eyes by talking about logic.
Apportionment is proportionate to the number of people, not the number of citizens. So the illegals overwhelmingly go to places like California and New York, and if you just look at the math, if you look at the apportionment,
Well, no, that's discrimination. You can't look at the numbers. He already didn't like the 99% donations going to the left. He couldn't understand that one.
and without illegals, I believe California would lose. I believe the blue state, there would be a net loss of blue states of approximately 20 seats in the House. This also applies to the Electoral College. So you say, like, well,
All of this is just frustrating. All of this to the left is simply inconvenient that Elon can think freely. This is the reason why they want control. They don't want people to be able to say these things. Because if you can say these things, then all of a sudden, people can think about it. They want to control what you think.
this also applies to electing the president, because the electoral votes are also done by apportionment the same way that House seats are done.
But the reason, Elon, the Electoral College is in place is to to balance that, is so that that doesn't happen.
No. Any impact, if they have a non-zero impact, which you can measurably demonstrate that they do, then it is illegitimate. That is the point he's making.
And so what you're saying about it is the exact opposite of the reason why the Electoral College is there. The Electoral College at this point...
That's not the reason the Electoral College exists, actually. The Electoral College exists because you cannot tyrannize people that live in Iowa from voting in California. That's the reason they...
Point in our history gives people who are in smaller states and red states much more of an influence over our elections than people who are in blue states, and the majority of the people in this country. That's what the Electoral College does. It actually does the exact opposite of what you're saying. It protects people who are in smaller states and protects people who are in red states.
Well,
the red states, because they tend to be smaller and less populous.
I think that statement is what you said is true, but what I said is also true, which is that if, as is the case, a disproportionate number of legal immigrants go to blue states, they amplify the effect of a blue state vote.
Exactly.
And the math, as I understand it, you can research this obviously very easily on there. It's pretty straightforward to research this. That the Democrats would lose approximately 20 seats in the House if illegals were not counted in the census, and that's also 20 less electoral votes for president. So the illegals absolutely do affect the who controls the House and who.
Guys, it's really demeaning the way he's looking at him right there. I mean, he's looking at him like you're some sort of kid talking about how much you want, the lollipop and how it fell on the floor. No, he's a genius billionaire who's explaining to you how democracy and civilization is at risk, and you're sitting there like...
Election.
I'm talking about the Great Replacement theory is also part of a Jewish conspiracy theory. And when you...
Come on. Oh, gosh, bro. Not this again.
The tweet, or you responded to the tweet about that, you ended up apologizing, and which I think is, it's good that you ended up apologizing. You went to Auschwitz with Ben...
What is he talking about apologizing, by the way? I'm not aware of what Elon Musk, as far as I recall, never had any positions that went against Jewish people. As a matter of fact, he went to Israel to see what happened.
Shapiro.
Yeah.
Right? So you said you learned your lesson. What did you learn?
What? He didn't say that. Okay, he didn't say that, though.
I said I learned my lesson.
You said you learned your lesson when you apologized, and you said you went to...
What is this language? This is some crazy leftist pandering right now. Okay, I can tell you Elon did not say those things, but okay, that is like leftist fodder for canceling people. That is the woke mind virus trying to say, oh, we got him. We got him to bow down to our ideology. That didn't happen, but he's choosing those words because that's the type of garbage that they want to hear. Again, they only care about their ideology and power. In Marxism, the only thing that exists, there's no reciprocity, there's no meritocracy, obviously they despise capitalism. The only thing that exists is power. So the only thing that they can do to people is say, you are forced to agree with us or you're a bad person. They don't debate, they don't use logic, as they're proving right here. This is a critical flaw. This is an incompatibility with reality the leftist ideology has. They can't contend with logic, reason, or rationality. Instead, they say, you're a bad person unless you disagree with us, and we're going to make you apologize using power. He didn't even apologize, and you're still trying to deny reality because objective truth is oppressive, and you're pandering to a leftist audience that, frankly, has no business being in any type of driving seat of this country. This is disastrous.
Auschwitz, you saw what...
No, I was already aware of these things.
Yeah.
And the nature of my comment that really...
It's incoherent, completely incoherent.
Inflamed people. What I was trying to say, and I did very quickly clarify, this is what I'm saying, is that a number of prominent Jewish philanthropists fund groups that they should really take a closer look at funding, because some of the groups they fund, I think, are anti-Semitic.
Yeah. Do you understand the connection between the two? There's a connection between, you said Democrats, the Great Replacement theory, but when it comes to the actual Great Replacement theory...
Wait a second. If he just agreed with what Elon just said, then he acknowledged that what he said was incoherent. But they don't even believe as coherence as a standard. It's disgusting. I mean, he just basically said, he accused Elon of something, then acknowledged that that wasn't the case, that doesn't even apply. But there was no hesitancy in doing that. That was really weird to watch, honestly.
Originally, it was started about Jewish people, as you said, flooding in the country, and then now people are using it for Democrats.
No. He never said that. What are you saying right now?
Saying the same thing about Democrats.
No.
Flooding.
He never said that. What are you even talking about?
In my view, it's a simple matter of incentives.
Yeah.
I don't.
What?
I actually don't
Bro.
see an incentive for Jewish people to want to have legal immigration. I don't
It
think
doesn't even make sense.
there is such an
And
incentive.
he never even said that.
The Great Replacement Theory is a neo-Nazi trope. It's in the Neo-Nazi Manifesto. It's in the Turner Diaries. It's referenced by the Buffalo Mass
What even are those things, man? Why are you talking about them?
shooter in his manifesto, where 10 people, black people, were murdered in Buffalo.
What are you talking about right now? Hello? What's going on? Is this okay? They have to revert. They have to revert to their ideology. Group identity politics. I will now say that a protected class has something bad against them in conjunction with this word that has nothing to do with your position. I shall now read it aloud as it applies to us in a way that I need not justify.
There's actually
What's going on?
the title of the Christchurch Shooters Manifesto. 51 people in the Muslim mosque were murdered. 23 people murdered in El Paso by a shooter who used the same language that you use in that manifesto. When you say
Whoa, okay, that's not acceptable. I'm gonna be honest. You can't say stuff like that. You can't say a shooter used the same language you do. That's not acceptable.
Hispanic invasion. Is that not?
I didn't say an Hispanic invasion.
And you quoted a tweet that that called it a
They actually can't think.
Hispanic invasion.
If I quote something, it doesn't mean I agree with everything in it. It's just something that I think this is something worth people should consider.
Why would you quote something that you didn't believe?
Because
He
anything
didn't say that. Okay, they can't parse ideas. It's very frustrating because they're not being. He's not being professional. He didn't say that he agreed with everything in it. And then Don said, "So why did you quote something that you disagree with?" He didn't say he disagreed with it. He said he doesn't agree with everything in it. I understand that this is difficult for people who can't think, but really this is very obvious.
I quote is going to have a whole range of statements. Doesn't mean I agree with everything in it.
It's very
Do you think if you moderated yourself,
What needs to happen is people need to think better, think more clearly. That's what you need to do.
more, if there was better content moderation on the platform, that you wouldn't have to answer these questions from reporters about the great replacement theory as it relates
I
to
don't have to
Democrats,
answer these
the
questions.
great replacement theory as it relates to
Oh, that's how it happened. Oh, in the most degenerate way possible. Segue to incoherent accusation, listing incoherent facts, nothing to do with reality, another demonization tactic, and then here it is. Why do you have to answer incoherent questions? Oh gosh, I had no idea that this is how that clip took place. This compounds the degeneracy of that clip, because it's essentially saying what he's saying now is, with this expanded context, is you wouldn't have to contend with people saying things that aren't true if you just agreed with us. That's what he's admitting right now. But I mean, Elon's going to answer it properly.
Jewish people. Do you think that?
I don't have to answer questions from reporters. Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on the X platform and you asked for it. Otherwise, I would not do this interview.
So you don't think? Do you think that you wouldn't get in trouble, or you wouldn't be criticized for these
Get in
things?
trouble? With who? Is this America? Can you have opinions?
So that
Criticize
there-
possibly. I could care less.
you
Get
don't.
in trouble. What do you mean by that?
You don't care.
No, I don't
Why
care.
not?
I don't think people should care what the media thinks about them. They're terrible judges of character.
Yeah, exactly. Get him, destroy him. That's right. BBC lied about Andrew Tate. All the media is completely a sham.
Even
Bad judge of character. True. It's obvious though. Is it not obvious?
someone who has one of the biggest social media and biggest information platforms in the world.
They despise that we're free, bro. They despise it so much.
You don't care. You don't think that you have any X.com or you have any responsibility to the truth or moderating the platform?
You're conflating the truth with the media, and I think the media is not truthful.
Exactly. Very, very well said.